Hi everybody, I hope you're enjoying the online classes so far. Today's art class is creating an abstract piece. You're going to be needing some Elmer's glue, oil pastels, and paper. The type of paper you will need is either mixed media paper. If you have oil pastel paper or pastel paper, that'd be great. And if not, you can also use construction paper, and you can use any color. Enjoy this class. Again, you're going to need some paper, your oil pastels, and Elmer's glue. I just happen to have my glue in a squeeze bottle. And then just to hold it down on your table, or I have an art board that I'm using, but your table is fine. You could just use some tape to hold it down on the sides with some masking tape or regular tape. Sometimes when I have artist tape, I even like to just put it around as a border, which is an option you can do, especially if I'm going to use any type of pastels across the whole paper. But right now we're just going to do an abstract, and it's going to be pretty much in the middle. So, but before we even get started in that, I do want to show you the difference between oil pastels, which is this, and some dry pastels. So I'm just grab another piece of paper really quick. So your oil pastels is almost like a crayon consistency. Okay. I'm going to mix in two colors. Let's get red in there. And the way we're going to blend it, we're going to use our fingers. There's other ways to blend it as well, but right now we're just going to use our fingers as a tool. So again, as you can see, it's more like a crayon consistency. And then when you blend, you're just going to take your finger, any finger, and you're just going to blend right into it. I usually like to make a little circular motion, and you just blend right into each other. Okay, there you go. Okay, that's a nice blend. Okay, now chalk pastels is another dry pastel. It's different. It's a different feel from your oil pastels. So I'm going to use, same thing, I'm going to use a red and a pink. So it's a little chalkier. So you're going to get a little bit of like a dust with it. So that's your red. And you can already see there's like a little chalk dust coming off of that. And I'm going to also use pink in there. It. And you can tell it's just a little bit more messier, but it does blend nice and easily. Same thing, I'm just going to use that same finger, and it blends in. So they both blend in nicely. And chalk pastels are usually a little easier to blend in, but as you can tell, it does create a lot of dust. So if you use chalk pastel, you know, you always have to just make sure you kind of just like, you know, blow it away, get off your paper. It's a little messy. And with the chalk pastels, you definitely would need to use a spray so it doesn't come off, because it will come off if someone touches it like that. So we are going to be using the oil pastels for today's lesson. And another thing you may want to have on hand is a paper towel. We could just to clean your fingers. Not gonna really come off too much, but at least just take it off. And also to clean, if we mix the oil pastels together, it's nice to just clean it right off. Because if we use it again, you don't really want it blending into another color if there's some color left onto here. Okay. And if you do decide to wash your hands in between, you know, you could get wipes or something. You just have to make sure your hands are totally dry. Okay, so now how we're going to do the abstract art piece is you're going to take your glue, your Elmer's glue, and you're just going to start creating, you're going to be using your glue and you're just creating like any objects. Sometimes people will try and create some type of like design on it, but with this one we're just gonna just randomly just squeeze, can make it thick, and I'm just gonna randomly just do any design here, anything you want. gonna put some space in between. So it's just some random shape that I'm doing. And what you're going to want to do is let that dry. So it is going to take a little while to dry. You can use a blow dryer, but I would use it on a lower setting because you don't want the dryer to spread that glue. Once your glue is dry, as you can see, actually some of these parts were too thick, so they're not completely dry. I would want you to wait for it to completely dry, but just for now, as long as the parts that are still trying to dry inside, because you can see it's a little bit too thick. When you put too much glue, it'll take longer to dry. But as long as you're able to go over them and it won't burst, you're good. So we're just gonna start the project. So as you can see, it created little areas over here, like little sections. And we're going to work in each separate piece using the oil pastels. So what I usually like to do with the oil pastels, if we're gonna be blending them in, I would use 2 or 3 colors into one area. And I would use things in the kind of like in the same family. So if you're gonna be using blue, I would do like a maybe light blue and a dark blue together. Let's just use this blue. Now your pastels may have different colors or more colors, so you could choose within those colors. And we're not going to use black in here. We're just going to use their actual regular colors. So I don't know, let's start with these two, and we're going to start in this area right here. So yours is going to look different from mine. So just choose an area where you would want these 2 colors. Okay, so we're going to stay in here. I'm going to start with the light blue. And get as close as you can to that border right there. And this is such a great project for tactile art. If you love texture, this is great. Just feeling the bumps of the glue, and then when you rub the charcoal together, it's really nice. Okay, so I'm gonna go to about up to there with this blue. And then we're gonna start just kind of mixing a little bit on top of it. As you can see what I'm doing right here. Maybe it's better you can see it over here. Okay, so mixing it just a little bit. And then again, go as close as you can to that glue. And I've done this project before where I'll actually even rub on top of the border. But you don't have to, but you'll start seeing that. You'll probably can't avoid it. Okay. So now I'm gonna just take my finger. Some people have used towels or Q-tips. I just find it easier definitely to use my finger. There's also an art tool. It's a smart smudge tool that people can use as well. So as you can see, it's blending in really nicely. So the dark blue to the light blue. I just rub into the whole thing. There you go. So that's one area. And again, like I said, sometimes I'll just smudge. I like to just smudge right in there. Okay. So, I usually will put colors next to each other that are similar. So, let's go for a red. I'm gonna go right over here. I'll get a little bit on the other side, but that's okay. And again, you could actually, I didn't do it with this one, but if you mix together the colors and there's like a little color left, just wipe it right off. It's It's always good to keep your pastels clean. Same thing with your finger if you want to rub that finger, but because I have this color on my finger, I would try to use a different finger for the next color, unless you get it off really well. It's off pretty good. So for this one, I'm actually going to use red. I'm going to put red right here, starting right there. And I'm going to go within like that same warm color now next. So I'm going to use the orange, which is right here. So let's get into the red. And you're going to do that with each one. So I'm only using 2 colors, but you could definitely use 3. And matter of fact, let's use 3 on this one. I'm going to use this red, and then I'm also going to add in this yellow right here. So now I'm going to do my orange again. Just start a little bit over that red. So you're just following the pattern of the glue. And again, if there's any red on it, which I don't really see, just wipe it anyway. You're gonna wipe that red off. And now you're gonna do your yellow. So I'm just gonna start on the opposite end. As you can see, it's starting to mix in to that orange. And I'm doing this purposely just so you can see like how you don't want your oil pastels to be left. Okay, so now you can see the yellow has a little bit of the orange. You don't want to keep that orange on there when you put it away. It's always good to wipe right off. See? Okay, I mean, I kind of clean my finger pretty good, but if I can use another finger, that's what I'm going to use. I'm going to start with let's start on the lighter side. Just rub right in. I like to go on the actual glue. You don't have to though. And then let's get right into that orange. Rub it all. And get right into that red. Okay. Now you'll notice that it gets a little harder when you get into like those skinnier areas, but just try your best to get in there. And you could take like a little Q-tip if you want and just kind of try and rub it in. Or like I said, there's a smudge tool that artists use as well. There, okay. And then when you're happy with that, you could go on to the next one. Okay, let's do something in there. So I'm just gonna rub my finger. So again, I like to put light with a little bit of the dark. So over here, why don't we do like a purple? Do a purple right there. And I'm going to do blue again. I'm going to do this darker blue, but I'm going to try not to go close to this blue. So I'm going to keep it more on this end. Okay. So let's get that purple going right here. The purple looks more like a dark blue. And you can mix colors to make, if you know your color wheel, I know in the last project I showed the color wheel. You could use that color wheel. So the blue and the red will make purple. And maybe I'll just do that one like somewhere over here, just so you can see that. pretty similar, but you can tell a little bit of it's going to turn into a gradual difference when you start rubbing. Go right over a little. Again, any colors you want. Experiment. Okay. So now you're going to rub. I'm going to use this finger again since it's in the blue side. And no worries if it goes over a little. Sometimes you just can't help it. Okay. I'm not going to play around with that. I can see that the glue is a little too soft there when I rub. So again, you'd want your glue to be as dry as possible before you start this project. Okay. There you go. So it's a nice gradual, I guess it's purplish blue going into that blue right there. Okay. So I'm going to show you mixed color. Let's try and do, let's do this blue and pink. I'm gonna do it over here so it's away kind of from here. And I hope this works because red and blue do make purple, so I'm hoping a little bit of that pink and blue will make some type of purple. So I'm going to put this blue right here. Okay, let's go a little bit into that blue. And again, just wipe that pink off. And I'm just going to use a clean finger. I'm going to start with the pink. Rub that pink in. Let's see. It's going to give us some purple. Yeah, it's giving me some purple right there. Okay, just a light purple. Just a little bit. If you want, you can put a little bit more pink over that blue. It's going to rub it right into there. Okay, so you can rub colors like that together as well. Alright, so you're going to take each, so you're going to continue taking each section that you have in your artwork, and you're just going to do the same thing. Pick 2 to 3 different colors. You know, you just try to keep the cool with the cool, the warm with the warm. And you know, if you want to mix the colors, you know, you could look at the color wheel from the second project that I had put up, and we're gonna see how it goes from there. So I'm gonna fast forward to how it looks on my end. All right, have fun with yours and take your time, go at your own pace. And there it's done. So as you can see, I also mixed some pastels with just going into the white. And then at the end, I decided to put a thick line of pastel, of gray pastel around here as a border, just so it could stand out more. And the same thing, just rub it right in. But that's our abstract piece using oil pastels and Elmer's glue. Again, for your project, you probably would want to let the glue dry all the way before starting.